This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom. Words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. Consider this your vitamin or supplement for your mind and your heart. However and wherever you listen to podcasts, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom? And please leave a rating, especially on iTunes and all of the others as well. And if you could leave a brief written review, it will really help others be able to locate this podcast. I appreciate all that you do. Today I want to talk about a subject of being stuck and how to get unstuck. Now, you may be one of the rare people that maybe never get stuck. I was just recently in that position with a couple of items that I was working on. I just couldn't, I felt like I was stuck. Being stuck is probably not a technical term, but we've all experienced it, where no creativity seems to be available regardless of what we attempt and try. We don't seem to be making any progress. We can't think our way through it, work our way through it. Sometimes it even feels like we can't pray our way through it. So perhaps there's a project or a situation in your life, or even a relationship where or a job, you feel like you're in a dead-end position, or a job, and you just feel like you're stuck. And how do you get out of that? Well, let's talk about 7 things that I think can help us get unstuck. Because I'm a person of faith, the first one that I'm going to mention is the word prayer, is the subject prayer. Now, others talk about meditation and all of those sorts of things, but get in touch with the spiritual, the God of the universe. Pray. Just pour out your heart where you are in your particular situation right now. Prayer is more than just continually conversing. It's also about listening. It's also about asking for help and asking for guidance, and yes, even asking for direction. So being stuck may be a good sign that you need to spend some time in prayer. You should be praying often anyway, but prayer is a great way to get unstuck. The second thing that I would add is to journal. Now, I am not a person who by nature journaling comes easily to. I am a verbal person. I would rather talk than write. But I began to love writing by journaling. And what I do once in a while when I'm sort of tempted, I'm going to skip journaling today. I'm going to skip keeping a record of what I was thinking and what was happening and the blessings as well as the adversities. I go back into an older journal and I will read it, and I say to myself after I've read it, I am sure thankful that I kept this record. I am sure thankful that I went through this exercise, because it's a real blessing to read it. And I especially like the ones where I am going through a real trial, a real difficult spot. I now am far away from it and I know how it turns out. But I love reading what I was writing in the midst of it with the raw emotion. And it really encourages me today, knowing that whatever problem I face, God is going to help me. I'm going to work my way. It'll get resolved. And journaling, there's just something powerful. And again, I came later to this party. I used to roll my eyes when I would hear preachers or business leaders or motivational speakers talking about journaling. I would sort of roll my eyes and saying that they're not talking to me, because that's not something I want to do, like to do, or can do. But I have found there is a power that comes when you write something down on paper. And now, frankly, I keep an electronic journal. When you just begin to pour out your heart through the keyboard or on the paper, and you begin to bare your soul, begin to look at the options that you have, begin to talk about your feelings and what you're going through and all of those things. It has helped me on numerous occasions to get unstuck when I've been in a place where I'm really stuck and don't know which way to go. Just go to my journal, regardless of what time I have scheduled in my day to journal. That's one of the things I'll do when I'm feeling just a little bit stuck. I'll change things up and go to my journal. Let me tell you the third thing that I do, another thing that I do when I am stuck and wanting to get unstuck, is I have two or three friends and even a mentor that I can go to and I can confidentially tell them, here's what's happening. I don't know what exactly is going on, but I just can't seem to get over this hump. I just can't seem to get motivated. I just don't seem to be able to push past this. And oftentimes, a word fitly spoken by a friend or a mentor has been the gentle nudge that has pushed me forward. That's one of the great things about being made to be in community. Now, you can't tell everyone because there are some people that aren't confidential or some people who don't understand um, what it's like when a person bears their soul to them. But if you do not have that person, I'm going to pray and ask the Lord to give you that kind of a person. Everyone needs a friend and someone to serve as a mentor. It doesn't mean somebody's going to move into our house and live with us. But even a confidant that is someone who I can email or talk to on the telephone, even briefly, or just have someone pray with me. More times than not, when I explain my situation, they themselves have often gone through a similar event, and it is really encouraging to hear them recount how they made it through, what transpired, and they give you hope. So rather than climbing up, a lot of times when we're stuck, we kind of withdraw from people. I'm telling you to do the opposite. When you're in a feeling that you're stuck, get with someone, find someone who can help you. The fourth thing that I would like to share with you that I think can maybe help you get unstuck is change up your routine. Sometimes we're stuck because we're bored. We're especially those of us that have these details down, and this is what we're going to do, and I'm going to get up at this time, and I'm going to go there, I'm going to do this, I'm going to the gym, whatever it is, I'm going to eat the same breakfast. One of the things that can help is just changing up your routine. I mentioned it a moment ago in that I have a precise time in the morning when I journal, which is my normal time for journaling. But later in the day, if I'm stuck, one of my, like I said, first go-to things to do is to journal or even to pray. But just change up your routine. Just kind of mix things up a little bit. That in and of itself is enough of a difference that oftentimes will push me forward. And so you're the one who has made up your routines. They're not in the Bible. They're not in the Magna Carta or the U.S. Constitution. There's no law that's been passed that says once you have found a routine, you must stick with it till you die. And it could just be you need to change the routine. A fifth thing that I would like for you to consider is oftentimes when I'm in that feeling of being stuck and I don't know how to move forward and I don't know how to get my way through it, is a sign for me that I need to take a break. There was a period in my life when I lived in the suburbs of Detroit, Michigan, and I love baseball. So when I would be in one of those stuck moods, there were people in the congregation where I served who had season tickets to the Detroit Tigers. And so I always had ample access to baseball tickets. And I have found, especially an afternoon baseball game, but even an evening one, just being out there and the sound of the bat and the grass and the fans and the peanuts and popcorn, just that break would rejuvenate me. I know it sounds sort of crazy, but some of the inspirational ideas I have had came to me while I was at a baseball game, not at a desk, not at my computer, but they were things that really helped me. Maybe it means, leader, all you need is to step away from where you're doing, go for a bicycle ride, go for a walk, go to the gym, go to a baseball game, go to a concert, go to your kids' games. Do something, just sort of take a break. Oftentimes, some of the greatest moments of inspiration regarding a particular project does not happen while you're working on the project, but will happen when you aren't even there. So one way to get unstuck is to take a break. The next one would be to make a list. I love the story that Ray Bradbury, the science fiction author, has told on how he has done, because writers notoriously get stuck, writer's block, but it happens to all of us. And he said what he would do is either pull out a piece of paper or on his, back in the day, typewriter or on his word processor. He would just start making a list of random words. Now, when I first read that, I kind of thought, well, that's odd. And he would go on to say that oftentimes the random words that he would put on the sheet of paper, he would include those words in that particular piece of writing he was doing. So a couple of times when I've been really severely stuck, especially with a writing project, I followed the Ray Bradbury rule and just pulled out a piece of paper and began to write down random thoughts and words. And I don't know how it works. I don't even know the science behind why it works. But I found that a time or two to be exceedingly helpful, knowing that I'm just writing random things, and all of a sudden it gave me a breakthrough. It probably is the fact that you're changing your routine, you're taking a break, you don't feel the pressure, and you're just making a list. I have found that idea to be very, very helpful. And the last one that I would mention that I think perhaps could really help you when you're stuck is try something new. Do something that you've never done. I've gone ziplining. I've attempted to learn a foreign language. I'm podcasting. A few years ago, I began writing a blog. Periodically, I attempt something new. You have to exercise new physical and spiritual and mental muscles that maybe have not been exercised. But just the trying something new, expanding your repertoire, has been a catalyst for me a few times in getting unstuck where I was and moving forward. Well, let's all confess it. We do get stuck from time to time and think we'll never get off the snide. We'll never move forward. Well, try prayer, journaling, talk to a friend or a mentor. Go ahead, change up your routine. And it's okay, my friend, take a break, make a list, or just try something new. And I believe one or more of these items might be exactly what will help you get unstuck. You've been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust that this has been like a vitamin or a supplement for your mind and heart. Remember, leader, you're doing better than you think you are. And if you're stuck, you're in the legion of many, but there are ways to get through it. However you listen to podcasts, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom? And I would really appreciate it if you'd leave a rating and a brief review and tell your friends. And until next time, this is Dr. Ron saying to you, leader, you're doing a whole lot better than you think you are. Hang in there, and until next time, have a great and blessed day.